At that fire chief, Kelvin Cochran just had the first hearing in his lawsuit against the city of Atlanta after being fired over statements he wrote about homosexuality and a Christian men's devotional. City officials are trying to get his case dismissed, but a federal judge hasn't yet made a decision whether Cochran's complaint will move forward. Abigail Robertson brings us the latest from Atlanta.
Once one of the highest-ranked fire officials in the country, former Atlanta Fire Chief Kelvin Cochran has now seen his career ripped away from him for expressing his religious views in a Bible study book.
It's faith and patriotism that caused me to be a firefighter in the first place.
Chief Cochran dedicated 34 years of his life to serving in the public fire department and was appointed Atlanta Fire Chief in 2008. But last November, he was abruptly terminated from his dream job after a complaint to a gay city councilman. The councilman then went to Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed. The complaint involved a passage in the book about biblical views of sex, including statements against homosexuality, using terms like perversion, inappropriate, and unclean. The complaint called that passage offensive.
For that faith to lead to all the career successes that I've had, to ultimately conclude or end my career by expressing it in a book, is just unthinkable in the United States of America.
Cochran asked permission from the Atlanta Ethics Department before writing the faith-based book, and he only distributed it to coworkers who had already established a relationship with as believers. He even gave a copy to Mayor Reed, who congratulated him on writing it and promised to read it. Cochran was shocked to learn his book would be offensive to anybody.
It was such a shock to everyone that it would occur, and it would be so abrupt. There was a lot of just heartache and heartbreak and tears.
The city launched an investigation to find out if coworkers felt Chief Cochran had created a discriminatory environment, including possible discrimination against gays. The investigation found that he hadn't, but Mayor Reed fired Chief Cochran, claiming he would not tolerate discrimination of any kind in his administration. In February of this year, Chief Cochran filed a lawsuit against the city of Atlanta, saying he had been wrongfully fired. Kelvin Cochran is fighting to prove Americans should not have to live in fear of being terminated from their jobs because of their religious beliefs. David Courtman, one of the lawyers defending Chief Cochran, says this is not just a fight about vindicating the chief, but rather a fight to protect every American's right to freedom of speech.
The reason this case is so important to everyone is we have the federal government telling someone, if you don't agree with their views, with their orthodoxy, you are not fit to hold a position. You are not fit to make a living. That should worry everyone.
Chief Cochran says his former coworkers are afraid to express their support or reactions because of fear of the potential consequences.
They can't say, I believe, like Chief Cochran believes, for fear that they would be terminated as well. No American should have to choose between living out their faith and keeping their job.
Since his termination, faith communities in the Atlanta area and around the country have given the Cochran family a tremendous outpouring of love and support. He asked for continued prayer for the mayor and the city, as well as for strength for his wife and children.
I've never felt that I was in this all by myself, not for a moment.
Chief Cochran stays positive by believing that all suffering is for the glory of God and that he would not be going through this had God not prepared him for it. Reporting from Atlanta, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.